There, we're live on both channels now. That seemed to take a little moment to get started up. I might have to look at what I have on my computer, that maybe I can lighten the load on my CPU or on my internet or something. Hi, Carol. How's everybody doing today? All right, so I'm on 2 channels. I'm on TikTok here, and then up there I'm on Facebook and also YouTube. So if you're seeing me looking up here and it looks a bit odd because it looks like it's, in the background, there's, like I said, TikTok and YouTube, or sorry, YouTube and Facebook up there. And for you guys up there, if you're seeing me and I'm looking down like this, it's because I'm looking at TikTok, and so that's that. Understand. How's everybody doing? Hello. Hi, Styles. I'm gonna have a little sip of coffee and just not coffee. Ooh, I haven't drank coffee in a long time. Just gonna give it a minute. I have fuzzy hair from having it in a toque because it's cold, but that's okay. Simply me. That's all you have to be. Is simply you, not me. Hi, Brittany. So just gonna give it a minute. I'm gonna watch the birds out my window and drink my nice warm tea while I wait for those who are out there to know that I'm live and send out that signal, and just sit here and breathe. Hello. Do you want us to ban cars? Is that what your name is about? Hi, Mr. Sean 2.0. What were the improvements between 1.0 and 2.0, or was there like a 1.1, 1.2, 1.3? Like, so was it that kind of an iteration? Hi, Tyler. Alrighty, so I'm going to get started. What I'm going to talk about is about True Sidereal, which is a form of astrology. And you may be familiar with what is mainstream, or you may know when you look at a newspaper that you're born under the sun sign of Virgo, let's say, and that's maybe as far as it is, or maybe you've delved into it a little bit and you've looked at your natal chart, or maybe you've at least checked out what your top 3 are, so you know what your sun, rising, and moon are. Maybe you do moon rituals around mainstream astrology, and you do all of that stuff. Maybe you've even heard of some of the other formats that are out there, like Vedic or Sidereal or True Sidereal. Well, one of the things that I was born with was this deep-seated need to figure out what the truth is, and the truth of the truth, beyond dogma, religion, what the government's selling you, all the distortions. I just want to know the truth. And True Sidereal is the form of astrology that I have arrived at that I feel aligns mostly with the truth. And the reason why is it does restore the 13th sign, which is the sign of Ophiuchus, and it also considers the size of each of the constellations, and what it's doing is actually looking at the living sky. It doesn't, back in about 2,000 years ago, they froze the sky, and that's why Aries rises on March 20th every year, right? Oh, I love Yeshua. Thanks, Braden. I love Yeshua. I just think that we have maybe have a slightly different opinion on what he came here to do. Some people believe he came here to be our savior and that he's going to come again and save us again. But that's not, Yeshua came to teach us that we were the way. Nope. It's not. Who told you it was demonic? Who told you it was demonic? Who told you? Yeah, and you can have your belief systems. Your belief system doesn't affect my belief system. Your belief system's yours. Right? I believe that there's a lot of truth in the Bible, but I also believe there's a lot of lies. There's a lot of distortions. There's a lot that was removed. And this is true for every religious text, that there is lies. There's so many lies. So many of them built to take the woman out of the Bible. Right? They took them out of the Bible, reduced them to nothing. Well, the facts are there, right? There's the book of Enoch. There is, the book of, there's Mary's, Mary Magdalene's story. Like, these things were removed and distorted. And when you read Mary Magdalene's story, which is out there, it's not what they told you it was. Once you allow a government or a king, like King James, whatever number he was, to brand the Bible as his, now it's man-made. Do you know who should be telling you the story? God. Right? I listen for messages, to me. I don't go read what someone else wrote about some story that, I don't, and that many versions of the Bible have existed. Stories have been put in, taken out, twisted and changed and manipulated. So no, it's not. God didn't write it. If it was God's word, God would have wrote it. It would have come straight from God. You think God can create humans but can't write a book? You don't think that he couldn't have created scrolls that just appeared in front of you and said, this is my word? So God handed his word through the stories of other people to be written in a book, and then said that some King James was going to allow his version? I'm not the one putting limits on God. You are. You're saying that God had to tell stories to other people and get other people to write the stories for him, and then he allowed them to do whatever they wanted with it. Take whatever they want out, put whatever they want in, color it however they want. You're saying that that's what God did. Your almighty, all-powerful God. All right? I just think that that's just... You too, Brandon. You too. Right? I just think it's absolutely... sad. I guess sad would be the right word. That we believe in, and I do believe in God. Right? I do believe in God. I believe that, in a lot of different things, but I do believe in God. I just don't believe that the Bible is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, just like I don't believe that any of them are. Once you allow man to put his hands on it, it no longer has that authenticity to it. It no longer has the truth. It's been distorted. It's been changed. So why? Why did his word have to be changed? Why did things have to be removed? Why were other things put in place? Why? Wouldn't you think that someone that powerful could speak the words in such a way that everyone would resonate with it and know what he meant by it? Or she? Right? Cass is exactly. If it was written by man, then why is go against all desires of man? I don't understand what you mean by that. If it's written by man, then why does it go against all of the desires of man? What makes you think that the desires that were written in the Bible of man weren't put in there so that you would have those desires because you believe that that's what a man is meant to desire? What came first? Oh, definitely. Free will is not without consequences. We got off on quite a conversation, but I'm glad that we were able to have a conversation without it getting like. Anyway, I'm teaching True Sidereal. I'm teaching Krystic astrology. I teach what I believe, what I have found, what I have researched, what I have discerned, what has been spoken to me, what I have learned along the way. I speak those truths. Definitely. As long as someone's respectful, I'm okay and having. I'm okay with having conversations. Right. But there's lots and lots of truth in the Bible. Bye. Have a wonderful day. All right. So True Sidereal. And we're going to talk about Krystic astrology. And what I mean when I'm talking about Krystic is I'm talking about outside of religion, outside of dogma, outside of manipulation and distortions and all of that negativity that gets seeded into things so that we adopt certain characteristics. So it makes sense that if you believe that we are dealing with individuals who are controlling society in such a way. I'm trying to think like how to say this in a way that, I mean, I don't know, I probably come at me a little bit with, I probably have some brakes put on because of the stuff that I talk about. It's funny because I have a friend who's, talks about getting canceled by Christmas and, many other friends like that. Because as certain things change within our, the general areas that we're living in, as certain bills are passed and things like that, speaking's gonna like the things that we can speak about is gonna change. So anyway, we're going to talk about True Sidereal. We are Wednesday, December 18th. I've been all off on the day because I got my content done even a day earlier. So because I had the content a day earlier, I was like, oh, it's New Moon Day because tomorrow's New Moon Day. But not today. Not today. Today is the eve of the new moon. There are a couple of changes that kind of happened the last little bit that I'll refresh on. And we'll talk about a few other things as well. And I also have a world prayer that I would like to do. And I'd like to be speaking this in the next few lives before we have the solstice, because the solstice is a very pivotal point. It's a turning point. So anyway, we're going to talk about that stuff too. So we've got the sun in Sagittarius that moved last night just around midnight. And that was in my time zone. It would change depending on where you are in relationship to me. We have the moon that was in Scorpio and then moves into Ophiuchus. And we have Mercury in Ophiuchus. We have Venus in Ophiuchus and Mars in Sagittarius. They're all in the same little cluster area, right? Because Ophiuchus is a sign right before Sagittarius and prior to and after Scorpio. So it's in between Scorpio and Sagittarius. So as it's moving through there, so we have all of those, the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, all in that same space. That's a lot of energy. We also have Jupiter in Gemini, which is its home planet or its home constellation. We have Saturn in Aquarius, Uranus in Taurus, Neptune in Pisces, also home planet, and Pluto in Capricorn. So let's talk about these and how That's all translating for us today on the eve of a new moon in Sagittarius. So the moon in Scorpio holds our shadows just long enough for us to love them. And think about how the moon transits through the signs. It moves anywhere from 2 to 3 days. Like that's how long it takes to transit through the signs. And I think if you look at True Sidereal, that might be a little bit different. I'm actually going to look at how long it takes for the moon to move through the sign of Scorpio and Ophiuchus, because I believe those are two of the smaller constellations. So I'm going to check in on a couple of those things, because that's the difference between True Sidereal and other forms of astrology, is it's accurate to the living sky. But anyway, it's moving through the signs that quickly, but that's your emotional landscape. So every couple of days, your emotional landscape, or the energy that's affecting your emotional landscape, is changing. And what you can do with that emotional energy is very powerful stuff, right? Because we're meant to transmute those energies, the traumas that we've experienced, the toxins we've ingested, all of that stuff. We're meant to be transmuting all of that. So this is the day, because it's moving from Scorpio into Ophiuchus, where the flame is then being consumed, right? This is the day where we choose transfiguration. So this is when we're looking at our shadows, or we're looking at the stuff that came up and we're like, yep, I'm done with this. I'm going to put this down. I'm going to transmute this energy. I'm going, whatever it is that's coming up, and I'm going to come forward new. I put my hair on the wrong side, which is weird because I don't wear my hair. Like, we'll put it back that way. Because then you can see my nonprofit, Hugs for Homeless. Okay, so this is the day that we're choosing transfiguration, not by bypassing the wound, not by clinging to the pain, but by offering it all into the fire of your own remembrance. Okay, and this is your divine remembrance, your Krystic remembrance. So Mercury has also now entered Ophiuchus. It did that on the 17th, I believe. Yes, on the 17th. Venus moves into Sagittarius on the 21st, and then Mercury follows, moving into Sagittarius on December 30th. I have to check when Mars moves from Sagittarius, because it just moved in there on the 10th. So we've got a little bit of time for that. Other moves is Saturn from Aquarius into Pisces on January 15th. That's the next big move of any of the larger planets that are out there. And of course, the moon and the sun changing as frequently as they do. So Mercury, now entering Ophiuchus, is joining Venus. So we have our thoughts and our desires, or how we relate to people. So we have our thoughts and communications, and our love, desire, beauty, attraction, sitting in the same sign. And that's the sign of Ophiuchus. So this is the alchemical womb of the 13th gate. Your words become medicine, your thoughts become spells, and communication becomes a sacred rite. So the sun and Mars are also standing together in Sagittarius. So we have a lot of this like energy where there's multiple signs or multiple celestial bodies in the same sign. So the sun and Mars in Sagittarius, they're asking us to aim higher than any ideology or projection. They want us to be piercing by the divine purpose. So really get in alignment with, what you come here to do? What is your purpose? How are you meant to align to your truth, and then live that? Like, that's what all you have to do is, what is your truth, and then live it. And your truth can be evolving and changing, and you're going to evolve and change to hold capacity for the truth that rises as you move. So you're not looking for more information. You're looking to integrate and then initiate from that integration. That's what we're doing at this time. So we have a flame of reclamation practice, and this is something that I'm going to give with you to do at home. I will post this little activation in the Temple of Light free group that I have on my website. So you can go and check that out on Sha'Ryah.com. So You can get that for free. But what the flame of reclamation practice is that you're going to sit in stillness and light a single candle. And then you're going to speak aloud. I offer every distortion I've ever held about my worth, my body, my truth into this flame, right? We're transmuting energy. Fire is a very powerful transmuter. I no longer consent to carry the weight of what was never mine. Put it down, let it go. You didn't consent to it. You didn't agree to it. You can let go of things that you were manipulated into. You can let go of things that you had no informed consent over. You can let go of things that are not aligned to you anymore because you've learned the lesson. You don't need to keep learning the lesson. You can let go of those things, especially the distortions and manipulation ones. Don't hold them. They're not yours. Never were. So you're saying that, and then you're going to witness what rises, whether there's an emotion, a memory, or a sensation, and you're just giving it to the flame. And you're letting that flame become your ally, because that's what the flame is. So this practice supports release, transmutation, and the anchoring of your purest expression. I was going to mush those two together. And it was almost coming out like present. Anyway, Christmas time, or maybe it's the present moment. So that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. A thing popped up. Pop up. And it just distracted me. You know, squirrel. Pretty much. Okay. We did our little we did our little suggested practice. I'll post that in the free Temple of Light group so you can revisit it. It's a powerful practice to do. You can change the thing that you're speaking to something else and burn other energies as well. It's just that this one is the thing. Yeah, sorry. Alrighty. We've also got inside, so I have multiple groups. I have a company, I have a website, you can go check it out. I also own a nonprofit, Hugs for Homeless, where I distribute essentials out into the communities. Currently, I have 10 bags that I'm going to be distributing, hopefully to the Hope Mission, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. It depends on when we can collaborate that. And these are 10 backpacks that have been filled with essentials. I make these backpacks from donations from you guys. We have a wholesale bulk supplier, so your dollar goes as far as we can get it. You can also do team building where you build the backpacks and they get brought to us, so you can get your company to do that, which what a beautiful thing to have for a team building activity with a company. But to do this group where you're building backpacks and you know that they're getting put out to community and they're going to actually save a life, right? How powerful is that for you to build that together? So your company that you work for or that you own would determine a budget for this team building event, and that budget would be spent on gathering the supplies for the backpacks, which you would then put them together in your place of business. Everyone would come together and put them together to do the team building activity. And then they would be shipped to us as a company, and we would distribute them to the shelters and missions and stuff like that we have collaborative relationships with, and so on and so forth. So that's our company. And if there's a disaster, we switch and we will go and take any of the backpacks that we have. We will respond to disasters, and then at that point would start asking for different types of supplies to build up those types of backpacks. But anyway, so I have several groups. This is my company. It's on Sha'Ryah, Pathway of Ascension. I teach you how to live your truth and to live the truth of who and what we are and how we're meant to live. Really, it's the Krystic path. It's the Krystic way. And I've done a lot of research and education and growth. And I was a nurse for 20 years. And I took holistic training and I'm indigenous. Like my whole life is the same as your life. Everything that you have, all the characteristics that make you uniquely you, that make you the facet of the divine that is expressing itself, that makes you uniquely you. You came here with that set, and those things aligned with you. You learned certain things, you experienced certain things, you took certain classes, you have certain hobbies, and you've lived a specific life. And that life was on purpose. It was by design. And it's, yeah, it's by design. It's just different than mine, maybe. So this week inside the Guardian Pathway, like I said, I have multiple groups. I have a tier group that's 3 tiers. The first tier is the Ascension Pathway. There are no lives in this group, but there's lots and lots of education and activations and so on and so forth. The Guardian Pathway is where I start doing lives. You get everything in the Guardian Pathway plus everything in the Ascension Gateway. That group, we're doing a live this month, is going to be how to detect distortion lines in real time. And this is a really powerful class that I hope you take interest in and want to attend. It's $22 Canadian, so probably somewhere around $25 by the time the system puts all of its little thingies on it. And that's how much I charge for drop-ins to the class for the membership groups. It's the cost of the Guardian membership. And if you want, you can pay for the membership and have that class for free. You can also do the next tier, which is the Krystic Mastery Circle. And that Krystic Mastery Circle is it gets everything from the Ascension Gateway and from the Guardian Pathway. It gets all of that, including the education of the class. And then it has its own live, its own education, its own class, its own content that just, it gets deeper and deeper as you go through the tiers. So those tiers are available. Now, inside the Guardian Pathway on Monday, we are, I wrote my note down wrong. Inside the Guardian Pathway, we're doing the distortion lines. Inside the Krystic Mastery Circle next Monday, so not this Monday that's coming, the 22nd, but on the 29th, we're doing the divine law of embodied authority. So how to speak, act, and lead from your oversoul truth without distortion. So those are available, and you can go check them out under the events tab on Sha'Ryah. What else do I have for announcements? On the 21st, I have 2 books publishing. There is the 5th book in the Unlikely Heroine Chronicles, which is a series that follows 4 girls who have encounters with mythical creatures, and they go on, they have adventures, and it teaches something like authenticity or something like that within the story. And they're packaged with a little bit of humor, and they're cute little books. So book 5 is coming out on solstice, and that book 5 is Tiana and the Phoenix Who Refused to Burn. And then there is also book 6 of the Luminous Soul series, which is they're just lovely books. They're reminding us about the truth of like being energy and our connection to everything and unity and all of that. And the book that I wrote this time, which is the 6th book, is Infinite Wonders. The Universe Has No End. So both of those come out on the 21st. I think my bestseller for all of my kids' books is actually the book I wrote for my grandson, Charlie. I have a series of books that I'm creating for him, and I've only written 1 in that series so far, but every month some more copies of it get sold. And it is no spitting, no biting, no hitting, and no kicking. That's what the book is called. So it's Choo Choo Charlie and His Adventures with Nanny B, and then that's the title of the book. And it was written because when at the time he was at that wonderful age where he wanted to bite or, do all of these little things. So we were going, no, like, what do we say all the time, Charlie? No biting, no spitting, no hitting, no kicking. So we made it a little thing with him. And so that was what birthed the book. But I have other stories that I've written for the series, but they've taken a little bit of a different turn because I really embodied the Choo Choo Charlie aspects into the story. So he goes on all these different magic train rides and has all these different interactions with trains. So it went into the space of trains more. And then I have another series that I wrote for my older grandson, Jack, which is The Adventures of Jack and Nanny B. And this one is Monsters Edition. And Jack and Nanny B are a dynamic duo. Nanny is packed with love and Jack is packed with light. And together they go hunting monsters. But the monsters are actually just little children who have been mistreated and unloved and felt like, and kind of cast away. So, they become kind of monsterish and all they really need is for acceptance. So Jack and Nanny B go and remind them who they are and bring and accept them. And they turn back into the little boys and girls that they really are. So cute little story as well. I have more books written for Jack, stories that are written, but I just have to put them together. And I've just been focusing on these 2 series that I started up as well. But more will be coming for those as well. And then my first book ever that I wrote for children is Jessie Learns to Create Calm Spaces. And it's a book to teach children calm spaces, which is the 4-element mindfulness technique combined with color theory, which is what I did to create calm spaces. So it teaches children to identify which emotions which emotions, what color is related to a specific emotion. So for me, joy was yellow, and calm was lavender, right? They're very common colors. So you have that knowledge and that those colors are related to those specific emotions. So then when you're in the firing up your imagination part of the 4-element mindfulness technique, you fire it up with images that are in the color that you have related to a specific emotion. And what that does is it brings the emotion into your body as well, because you're envisioning those colors, right? So I would think about sunflowers and sunsets and just anything, the color yellow. And it's like, even now, I'm immediately smiling just thinking about things in my mind that are yellow. So that was the first children's book that I published. And so it's been quite the journey. I have 18 and 19 are being published on solstice when that happens. All right, let's look at some other stuff. Just give me 1 second. Hi, dear bear. So those 2 classes are coming up. In January on the 9th, I'm doing a big course, and my big courses are 6 weeks in length, and it may be 2 classes per week. It depends. We're going to talk about that during the first class. And this is Bridge to Light Phase 2. Bridge to Light Phase 2 is all about embodiment. So this is living this is like calling you on it, right? This is what is the truth of who and what you are and how you're meant to live. And just like living in your integrity, showing up, doing the things you're supposed to do. Why, like a lot of people fail at they get caught in that cycle where they'll adopt it for a little bit and then all of a sudden they fall off the wagon and they're like, why did I do that? And it's because you're missing a certain part so that you could step into that full embodiment. And so that's what we're gonna learn all about that. So into the flame of reclamation. The divine law of embodied authority is the class for the Krystic circle. We've talked about that. Just looking at my notes. Yeah. So definitely subscribe if you want to stay connected, to get the daily sky reports, and to learn True Sidereal and Krystic astrology and all of that. Yeah. Okay, so I have more to talk about. That was just part one. Aw. Interesting. Oh, I think I know what might have happened. I wonder if that's it. Nope. Yeah. Nope. Sorry, it told me that I was having trouble on stream. It was having trouble on StreamYard for the Facebook feed. And I just wanted to check in case I was logged in on my business profile or something like that. And it was giving it a bit of a whatever, but it just must be something to do with Facebook or the internet. It doesn't matter. The reception or the signal or the information is going out where it needs to go out to. That's the right. It's always going where it's meant to. The person that's meant to hear it is going to hear it. If they don't hear it right now, they'll hear it when they're meant to hear it. And you just have to be firm in knowing that, right? Okay, so today is a powerful threshold. We were in this 5-day transition period between revelation and rebirth, because we had the sun that was in Ophiuchus, which is the sign of resurrection, and now it's in Sagittarius. We have tomorrow the new moon happening, and then beyond the new moon, 2 days from there, we are at that beautiful solstice. So we're moving between in this beautiful corridor. And the moon is transiting from Scorpio into Ophiuchus, which is bringing that energy, because tomorrow it's going to be new moon and the moon will be in Sagittarius. Mercury is also in Ophiuchus with Venus. So we have Mars and the sun in Sagittarius. We have the moon transiting into Ophiuchus, where it will be there with Mercury and Venus. So that's our thoughts and communication, our relationships, our attraction, our magnetism, our receiving, our relationships. I think I said that. Beauty, harmony. That's what Venus is. So both of those. And then also our emotional landscape is going to be in Ophiuchus, which is resurrection energy. So Ophiuchus is going to be saying, hi, blessings to you. Nice and Belize. So this is a very powerful energy that we're dealing with because of that resurrection energy. So it's going to have us get really, really real. And that's going to say to us, let's let go of the stuff that doesn't align with us anymore. We revealed that through the Scorpio energy, and now Ophiuchus is like, we're the phoenix rising from those ashes. Let that stuff go. So this is a day where the truth does not stay theoretical. It has to be lived. Everything has to be lived. Yes, Scorpio energy. So what we are doing in this corridor is not spiritual entertainment, right? Like, if you want the truth about it, stick around. We are learning how to live the Krystic way in real time. So this teaching, it's not astrological fluff, right? It's the living sky, because that's what the True Sidereal astrology does. It shows us what's actually happening in the sky, not what tradition says should be happening. So what is happening today, when you look on the Sky app, and you can pull up your Sky app and look and see where the constellations are in your area, they may be slightly different than mine, in the sense that if a planet was transitioning For me, say one's transitioning at 2:30, so it's just about to transition. Well, if it's 4:30 for you, that means that planet's transitioning at 4:30, not 2:30, because I'm 2:30, you're 4:30, right? That's the way that it works, because it's what's happening in the sky, and the sky it's a living thing. So Sun in Sagittarius is asking you, what is your truth? What is your path? What are you devoted to? Sagittarius wants to aim true. But if you're not true with yourself, Sagittarius is going to aim you in a whole bunch of different directions. If you've got a lot of different, you're very scattered and you don't know, right? If you're in that foggy kind of space, then where do you know to aim, right? If you're seeing deer along the horizon and you're seeing trees and fog and you can't really, you're like, is that a deer or is that just a tree with branches? Is that a deer? Right? You can't aim at it because you don't know what you're aiming at. That's what Sagittarius is calling you to. And we do that as we move through the signs. There's a specific order to the signs, and we transit through them on purpose, and we do them in that way. And if we listen and we pay attention and we follow that rhythm and that pattern, and we reflect, or we do whatever the energy is asking us to do in harmony with it, we're going to move much more freely through the energy. We're going to clear the energies, transmute the energies, and level up from layer to layer like a spiral, as opposed to circling around pattern, do good pattern, do good pattern, do good pattern, right? Why am I doing that again? Man, I was doing so good. I was working out for so long. And then one day led to another and another and another. And I haven't worked out in weeks. Fell off the wagon. Lemon, lime, salt water. Mason jar. Yes, I do. Carol, I couldn't answer your phone. Sorry, sweetie. I was already detained. Hello, love. You got here in time. You got here exactly in divine timing. It's perfect. I hope you're well. So the moon in Scorpio is asking us what needs to be released, what is still hidden, because remember, Scorpio likes to reveal the truth. And that brings to the next spot, which is what emotional truth is ready to surface. You can't do anything about it if you won't look for it or see it, right? If it's not brought to light, if it stays in the dark, you're never going to know, right? Let's say, we'll go back to yesterday. Yesterday, I was saying how, if your pattern is somebody does this one particular thing to you, and whenever they do that one particular thing, you get so mad you flip a table. And every time you flip a table, you break in all your stuff, and it's not a good thing. If you keep doing that and you don't stop for a second and go, why is it that when somebody does this, I do this, which then leads to these consequences, that I have all these broken things? We have to be able to look at it and bring it to light and go, why? Why do I do that? What is it about me? Why does it make me that upset? Why is something outside of me able to control me so much? I flip a table, smash all my stuff. What is it? Right? What is it that affects me so much that I get so angry and built up that I punch myself, right? And if it's just, I never learned how to handle the emotions that were running through my body because I didn't have anyone demonstrate or teach that to me. So it was a failing of proper parenting. What do I need to do then? Well, I need to learn how to manage those emotions. I need to be able to look at them and say, okay, so the reason why I'm really upset is because this is rubbing up against a trauma that I had because, my parents neglected me here, or because my mom used to say this, or my dad did this. And so when that person does that. It reminds me of this. And I don't know how to deal with the energy that's in my body from this. And I flip a table. So maybe if I learn how to look at that, put it down and breathe or see it for what it is and move beyond that, you'll stop flipping tables and stop having other people outside of you control your emotional responses. Because if they can control your emotional response, they can control you. The moon moving into Ophiuchus, this, remember, Phoenix from the ashes. So what identity are you stepping into? Don't be afraid to let the past images of you go away, right? I'm not going to sit here and hold the image of me as a child when my parents were, not working, when they were unemployed, and when I was on welfare or when we were homeless. I'm not going to hold that as my current identity, because if I hold that as my current identity, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to be the one on welfare. I don't have, my children are grown, but I'm going to be the one in that situation because that's the identity that I identify with. So I'm going to make that a reality in my life because I am the creator of my reality, overlaid with everyone else creating their realities and then the social reality that gets created. But I have to be looking at the identity that I'm moving into and adopting those characteristics. So figure out what it is that you need to have or do to be that identity, and then just do it. Go get it and be it. That's all you have to do. You just have to be it. Right? Maybe it's something that's going to take steps to get there, right? Like if you had, you wanted to not just run a marathon, but you wanted to place in the top 3, right? And you've never ran a marathon before. Well, that's going to take stages. First, you got to run a mile or a kilometer, whichever country you're in. You've got to run 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 5, 10, 15, 20, 26, right? You have to get to the length of that particular race. That's going to take growth in time. There's going to be conditioning. Your body, your nervous system is going to have to get conditioned to that state. And what we're doing a lot of the times when we're asking for stuff and we're like, more, I want more money, I want more followers, I want more of this, I want more of that. The only reason we're not receiving it is because our nervous system doesn't have the capacity to hold what's coming in. Because we're not doing breath work, we're not grounding, we're not showing up, we're not being consistent, whatever it is that we need to do to have that identity, to have what we want, we're not. We're got most of the way, but not all the way. So what identity are you stepping into? And then what healer within you is awakening? Because Ophiuchus is a healer. Very strong healing energy. This is all about that transmutation, that rebirth. It's not the death. That's not what Ophiuchus is. Ophiuchus is what comes after death. It's the resurrection, the phoenix and the fire. And what truth can no longer be avoided. Ophiuchus wants us to be true because Ophiuchus knows the next thing it's doing is handing it to Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is like, okay, let's go. We're going to aim in this direction. And we're going to fire off. We're on our way. Let's do this. Well, if you haven't got true or real with Ophiuchus, then your aim isn't true. Or if you're not clear, your aim is scattered. And it means you're going to be going off in all kinds of different directions. And you don't want that. You want Sagittarius to aim you straight. So this is initiation energy. It's not random. So what I mean when I say the Krystic Way, and I like to clarify this, and I'll keep clarifying this in my lives because I don't know, maybe you're watching this one and you won't see me again for a while. Maybe you will, and you should. You should come hang out with us. Hi, Mary Mother. So the Krystic Way is not a belief system. Okay, it is not a religion, and it is most certainly not bypassing. What the Krystic Way is embodied truth. That's all the Krystic Way means, embodied truth. So it's how you live when you stop lying to yourself, when you stop negotiating with misalignment, when you stop fragmenting your energy, when you stop outsourcing your authority, and when you stop overriding your body and your intuition. The Krystic Way is coherence in action. And coherence is what changes lives. So that was a good one. that was a good little segment. But it's true. Coherence saves lives. It's changed your life. It'll save your life, right? Mm-hmm. Exactly. Coherence and action. Hello, 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 hello. So the truth will set you free. It's actually my other channel's name, is One Truth Sets You Free, because you only need one. But I teach the truth will set you free. Like the name of the podcast is The Truth Will Set You Free. The name of the channel is number 1, Truth Will Set You Free, all one word. One truth sets you free. That's all you need. And that's what I teach. You know, I don't teach the comfortable truth or the curated truth or the partial truth. Right? What I teach is the truth that actually sets you free. And here's the important part that a lot of people just don't even say out loud. The truth does not set you free by hearing it. It sets you free by living it. Most people consume truth endlessly, but very few embody it. In Canada, in Mississauga, they are raising a flag. Starts with the letter P. Lots of stuff going on within that area, with another country with the name that is I. And there is also the place that it's in starts with a G. I think we're clear on what P I'm talking about now. So in Mississauga, and this is news, I mean, it's nothing that I shouldn't be able to talk about, but in Mississauga, they're raising the flag. So I got into a conversation with an individual online, and you know, they're like, well, we're raising the flag for this, for that, for whatever. And it's like, raising the flag isn't doing anything. Raising the flag is not doing anything. How does that change anything? How does that change anything when Canada raises what does it do? Like, it's just signaling. It's just pomp and circumstance. It's just a show, guys. Like, it's just a show, right? Like, there's something that is meant to do, and it's meant to drive division into a country. Like, that's the whole point of it. There's reasons why, and we have to be able to look at it and see it for the truth that it is, and then turn away from it and not give it our attention. So turn your TV off, turn your radio off, stop watching mainstream media, stop following all of it. If anybody has a massive channel, right, when we look at, so there is a blonde, blue-eyed, beautiful woman whose husband recently, who's been all over, and she was very angry at someone whose initials are CO. They had a private 4.5-hour convo to, you know, get clear with things and to reduce the tensions. And I'm pretty sure you know who I'm talking about. And controlled opposition, guys. Like, they're allowed to have the platforms. Who's funding these guys behind the scenes? Do you know who's funding your actual influencers that are way up there making lots of money? Do you know why they're allowed to have these big, and I'm saying allowed, right? Why are they allowed to have these big channels and all of these followers? Because they're not leading you to the truth. They're cycling you in the same blah, blah, that they want you cycling in. Confusion and whatever, right? Or being so You know, like I'm following her because she gives me the most beautiful makeup tips. And then I go and buy all these things and I like, you know, have like 30 bags and 100 pairs of shoes and I've gotten Botox and right. They want somebody like that. They want somebody that can consume all of that and is so willing to change who they are because they've been born with the concept that they're flawed and there's something wrong with them and that somebody needs to save you. But you save yourself. Nobody's coming to save you. People may come along and help you. There's lots and lots of angels. I call them helpers or angel helpers, depending, right? I've been in terrible situations in my lifetime where, you know, I would have been homeless if my mom hadn't let me move in with her for a while and help me out. So that my mom is an angel helper. We don't, you know, we're not meant to be an island. We are meant to be a community and we're meant to help out our community members because we're supposed to determine the quality of the whole community by the health of the lowest members. So if your lowest members are starving, homeless, broke, sick, fat, whatever, right? And like whatever, like down the line, if that's your lowest people in your society, then the health of your society is pretty bad. And why isn't your government doing anything to change it? Because none of them are. Because it's all a show. So we need to be the change, and we be the change by knowing the truth and living the truth. We can't just go and consume information and get really smart about what the truth is out there. We actually have to live it. We have to embody it. So today's energies and how this, with today's energies, living the Krystic way looks like this. You'll be noticing in your body where you tighten up a little bit when truth rises. You will be more willing to allow emotion to surface without collapsing. You're going to feel a little stronger to hold those emotions. You're going to be choosing honesty over avoidance because we have, like I said, all those signs in Ophiuchus energy, which is saying the truth. And it's nothing but it. You will be releasing identities that no longer match your frequency, right? It was like I was saying the other day, and I used to do this too. I would lose a whole bunch of weight. I would be exercising, going along, exercising and getting healthy and but I would hang on to the fat clothes with the concept of, well, maybe I'll need them again. Throw them out. That's an old identity. Why would you want that identity? Why would you not want to get rid of that identity? Hi, Maurici. Buenos dias. Right? So it also is letting truth reorganize your life, not just your thoughts. It's not dramatic. It's precise energy. It's very precise energy. So, how are you? Oh, I got an itch. Incoming. Download. So, I just want to speak plain for a moment. Hello, Magic Marker. How are you? Welcome back today. So most people do not struggle because they lack the insight. It's not that you don't know. It's not that you don't have the information or you lack the intelligence or the logic or the ability. None of that, right? Right? People struggle because oftentimes they're trying to embody the truth alone or maybe they're missing out on something, because embodiment requires your nervous system regulation. So like I said, maybe they're not doing the breath work, or maybe they're not delving into and releasing those shadows so that energy stays stored within their body. Maybe they're not even in energetic coherence, or they're not listening to their discernment. They have disregarded it for so long that they don't even know what it is. And if you're somebody that's disassociated for a really long time, then you don't even feel your body. So it's not like, oh, that feels off. There's a tightening here, right? We don't feel that in our body because we've spent so much time disconnecting from it. And whether that's through, copious amounts of watching TV, drugs, alcohol, gossip, overworking, busyholic, right? Video games, porn. There's all kinds of things, shopping, right? There's all kinds of things that we distract ourselves with or disassociate using. And that keeps us out of our body. And when we're not in our body, we can't feel our intuition. It's harder to discern things. And if you're carrying around a lot of old energies from old traumas, they're going to be interfering with your ability to feel it. If you're in an environment with a lot of toxins and a lot of like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and radio signals and all of these different things, they're going to be affecting your energy as well. So you have to be looking at, how can I basically live the purest life, disconnecting from those things, and what measures can I put into place, right? Can you use crystals, or if you're going to say have Wi-Fi, disconnect your router overnight so that the whole time that you're sleeping, you're not at least having those waves. If you have a microwave, if you don't use it all the time, unplug it and only plug it in when you use it, and then immediately unplug it. You shouldn't use microwave, but and if I have to think about that, my microwave is a built-in in the house that I'm renting. And I need to figure out how to install it, like how to unplug it. I need to find a way to get into the back so that I can unplug it. That's something I'm going to do after this. I like to live the truth, so I'm going to do that after this. So embodiment requires that you can see things kind of almost predicting it. Like it's almost like having premonition, but you also have to have a stable container, right? And that's what I talk about, like having that stable container. So this is why having guidance can accelerate that transformation. Hi, Carla. Hi, Dan. Gemini girl. Hello, everybody. Right? This is why the work I offer exists, is because it's not that you can't do it. You can. And if you haven't done it yet, you have to ask yourself why. And maybe the reason why is you need accountability. Maybe the reason why is you just need clear steps that have been organized for you. Maybe the reason why is because the people that you tried with before, they were false light teachers, and they have you looping around in circles, and they did it on purpose, hoping that you would go back and buy more from them. Those things happen all the time, right? I got taught when I was first starting my company to upsell and always have another. And a lot of the stuff that I learned from my teachers just didn't, in the end, align with me, right? I really believe that if you have the knowledge and the information, and you put the information out there, that the right people are going to see the information, receive the information, and it's going to align with them. And then they're going to purchase the information, or they're going to work with you, right? Like you interacting with me here, you know who I am, you know what I'm like. And so if you look at my website and you see something, you know it's going to be me that you're working with. You also know that I do sacred reciprocity. I talk about this in every live as well, because it's something that needs to be continually reminded. My only concern with anything that I've created and that I've put out there is that there is an even energetic exchange, right? And I used to give and give and give and give and give and give, because I thought if I gave enough, I would receive, but that's not the way it works. you're in the wrong stream, right? When you're in the giving stream, you're in this side, right? So how are you going to receive anything? I'm just giving. When am I going to receive it? Tell me when. When is it coming? Because I'm still giving. I'm waiting. I'm giving. I'm waiting, right? You have to actually be like, okay, bring it to me. Bring it to me. So anyway, for me now, it's just about even exchange. I've done a lot of what I could basically call charity work, and I have a company that I do charity for now, so that's that. But we can talk, because maybe there's something besides money that you have to offer that I would really like. And I usually joke around and say, I don't know, maybe you live in Alberta and you got a car and I need a car. And I'm like, yeah, I'll take your car. And we'll be like, woo. Maybe you're just really good at YouTube and you can repurpose my YouTube video, and that would be a great help for me. And because of doing that, it's going to get my content out in front of other people. That's a really great energetic exchange. So I have that as an offer at my company. So just remember that. It's sacred reciprocity. So what I offer is not information, though. I offer embodied teachings. Every single live, we do a practical thing, the embodiment. I talk about Krystic astrology through the True Sidereal sky. It's the living sky. We should be working with what is true and actual. What is the sky actually doing over your head right at this time? How are the planets in the celestial body? Like, how are the celestial bodies in the astrological placements affecting things for all of us? Because they affect us all. They affect the energy of the whole entire system. This is why I also do nervous system aware spiritual work, because your nervous system is a big part of it. It's what's going to give you the capacity for more. It's what's going to allow you to receive, is when you soften your nervous system. I have a check for you right now. Right now. Is your stomach soft? Is it? Oftentimes we don't soften our stomach because of vanity, right? Because if you soften your stomach, it's going to stick out more, right? And that may be uncomfortable for people. I know I was holding my stomach because I'm on the camera, right? So I know that I was like, oh yeah, I can feel that I have my stomach muscles engaged a bit and holding that frame, and I can relax it down, right? Is your tongue on the roof of your mouth? Mine is. Right? So those are things to pay attention to, right? That's telling you you're not fully relaxed into your rest and digest. There's tension that you're holding for some reason. Now, my tensions that I'm on a live, I'm providing information, but I'm doing this very public thing. So there may be some stuff that I need to address with whether it's my appearance, right? Because maybe, you know, there's a little bit of shame in my tummy being too big and someone seeing it and whatever. Something I would need to work on. Maybe the reason why I'm not relaxing my tummy is because there's something subconscious that I have about what I'm providing or what I'm doing, right? Maybe I have a fear that's underneath there about public speaking, and I'm like, oh, hold it. Oh, I love you. And I know, right? I love myself. I love every bit of me. And I do this beautiful thing, and you should do it too, but actually do that in front of the mirror. Thank yourself, right? I birthed 2 humans into this world, 2 whole people, beautiful men now. That came from this body. I have endured trauma of all kinds. I have lived in over 60 homes. I have had so many surgeries and so many different accidents happen and stuff like that, and birthed 2 children and now have grandchildren. And I mean, how could you not love a body more for doing those things, for enduring all of that? This is our sacred temple. And if you start to think of your body as the sacred house of your spirit, and you really, really start to think of it as very reverent, it changes everything. It changes what you're willing to eat. It changes what you're willing to put on your skin. It changes the words you speak to yourself. Yeah, definitely. And say it in the mirror. Look in your eyes and give it that. Yes. So I teach you pathways like the Bridge to Light. The Bridge to Light is at phase 2 now. We started with phase 1, which was looking at a lot of the ego and trauma reactions. Some of our, it looked at your trauma responses. It really helped you to work through those particular shadows. Phase 2 is now looking at embodying your truth. Now that you've got to that point and you realize that, what we determined through the phase 1, or you're in that space of, your truth, the truth, and you just want to embody it, but you're just like, I don't know how. Those are the people that are ready for phase 2. I also have membership spaces for sustained embodiment. And I was talking earlier about how I have a tiered group set that is the Ascension Gateway, Guardian Pathway, and Krystic Mastery Circle. And all of these, the teachings deepen as you go into each of the groups, and what you get deepens as well. So everybody gets the previous group's content. So the Ascension Gateway is the first group, and it doesn't have any lives, but lots and lots of content. And, it's, you get everything from the Ascension Gateway and the Guardian Pathway. The Guardian Pathway is deeper teachings, and the live that we're doing this next Monday on the 22nd is about detecting distortion lines in real time. Aw, thank you, sweetheart. I love you. Beautiful day. Mwah. I'll see you tomorrow, maybe. And the next Monday, the Krystic Mastery Circle has their lives. Now, the Krystic Mastery Circle gets to take both education things, so they'll get both Mondays' contents. And the one for the Krystic Mastery Circle is the divine law of embodied living. So it's going to be how to live. Like it's a beautiful education session. It's kind of like a really nutshell bit of the phase 2 Bridge to Light, right? It's like I really condensed everything into a tiny into an education session. Next month there's more education coming for the Bridge to Light. Bridge to Light starts on January 9th, but there's more education coming for the Guardian Pathway and the Krystic Mastery Circle, with a very wonderful event that I'm putting on for the Krystic Mastery Circle, which is a 3-day event, and it is the Krystic Wealth Activation Series. And there are also, I can't remember the title of the live for the one. It's about New Year's, about the energy of New Year's for the Guardian Pathway, but I can't remember the actual title of it. So those are coming up. And then in March, I'm teaching Krystic astrology. So everything that I'm talking about when I'm talking about the placements and how to live according to the living sky, that's what I'm going to be teaching you, how to read a chart, and so on and so forth. So if you're looking at embodying your truth and you're tired of circling and seeing patterns come up, then look at all of those different things that I have to offer. So we're going to do our live practice because me, every single one has to have an actual practice because you can't do it if you don't embody it. So put one on your heart and one on your lower abdomen. So we're connecting our heart and our womb space, the seat of creation, right? And we're just going to allow them to kind of harmonize. There's the word I'm looking for. Allow them to harmonize. You can close your eyes and just focus on those two spots that you're connecting to. And now you're going to ask yourself, what truth am I avoiding living? What identity am I shedding? What alignment is asking to be chosen today? Take a breath. Let it out. Now say quietly, I choose coherence. I choose truth. I choose embodiment. So if what I teach is, hi Amy, I don't know if you're staying. I love you. I hope you're doing well. If what I teach resonates with you, there are a few different ways that you can work with me. You can join the membership spaces where embodiment is practiced consistently. You can also explore Bridge to Light Phase 2 when you're ready for a more structured transformation, and that begins on January 9th. After January 9th, it won't be available for a few weeks, and then it'll be available as a recorded practice, so you can, or a recorded course. And you can continue to follow these lives as well through this corridor into the new moon and solstice. So tomorrow is the new moon in Sagittarius, and then 2 days later we have solstice. So we'll be talking on Sunday. I'll be doing a special live just because it is solstice. But not too much of a live, just a short one. And readiness is not, and the readiness is something that you're going to feel in your body. You'll know when you're ready, right? There's no rush. There's just readiness, and you'll know in your body. So this 5-day corridor that we're in between today, the new moon, the next day, and we started the count yesterday. So we have today, tomorrow, then Saturday and Sunday while we move through the new moon and then solstice. This is about a new beginning. It's preparing you for that. And it's doing so because we're working through today, which is the release and truth portion of it. Tomorrow, we're getting the ignition from the new moon in Sagittarius and that arrow of truth. And the solstice is rebirth. This is a like a turning of a page, right? That's that still moment. So trust the knowing, and yeah. Okay, so we were doing True Sidereal. We're going to skip pace. We're going to talk about Mars. We're going to talk about Mars, because we've been talking about True Sidereal and Krystic astrology, and True Sidereal is the living sky as it truly is. Krystic astrology is looking at the truth of all of the planets and celestial bodies and everything, free of distortion and lies and manipulation. So we've been talking about each of the planets. We talked about Venus yesterday. So we're going to talk about Mars today and what it represents and how it moves through all 13 signs. Now, it is the action gate. That's what Mars is. It's how the soul moves, defends, initiates, and acts. So the purpose, Mars, reveals how the soul asserts itself into motion. It governs your drive, motivation, and will, your action style and initiation, your boundaries, protection and defense, anger, courage, and confrontation, and how energy is spent and recovered. If the sun is who you are, and the moon is how you feel, and Venus is what you value, Mars is how you move. So this is going to take us through the 12 gates and the 13th sign, the 13th sign being the sign Ophiuchus. So how action, will, and energy expresses through each of these gates. Mars in Aries acts instantly and instinctively. It moves with courage, speed, and direct force, thrives on challenge and momentum, needs immediate expression and physical release. Mars in Taurus acts steadily and persistently, moves with endurance and grounded strength, thrives through consistency and embodiment, needs patience, stability, and tangible results. Mars in Gemini acts through words, ideas, and movement, moves quickly between options, thrives on variety and mental stimulation, needs engagement and flexibility. Mars in Cancer acts protectively and emotionally, moves when feelings are involved, thrives when defending loved ones or home, needs emotional safety to take action. Mars in Leo. Now remember, this is all based on True Sidereal. So if you're not aware of what your sign is, make sure that you go to masteringthezodiac.com and get your free True Sidereal Zodiac natal chart. And then you'll know, and you'll be able to look at what I'm sharing and what the truth is about each of those signs or planets and so on and so forth. Mars in Leo acts with confidence and creative fire, moves through leadership and expression, thrives when seen and appreciated, needs recognition and heart-aligned action. Mars in Virgo acts with precision and efficiency, moves through service, improvement, and discernment, thrives on usefulness and refinement, needs clarity, order, and practical goals. Mars in Libra acts through balance and consideration, moves with diplomacy and fairness, thrives in cooperative environments, needs harmony and relational alignment to act. Mars in Scorpio acts with intensity and depth, moves through focused will and emotional power, thrives on transformation and truth, needs depth, honesty, and purposeful confrontation. Mars in Ophiuchus acts as an alchemical force, moves through healing, release, and regeneration, thrives on transmutation of shadow into power, needs authentic expression and energetic sovereignty. Mars in Sagittarius, this is currently where Mars is. Mars acts with enthusiasm and vision. It moves through exploration and belief. It thrives on freedom and purpose, and it needs meaning and direction to sustain effort. So that's the energy that we're feeling right now with where Mars is positioned. So we may feel like, there's certain things that we're doing, and we're acting on it with that enthusiasm because this is our vision, right? Because we are directing that arrow. It's been refined through Virgo and through all the signs, and got to the point where we're at Sagittarius, where we're hopefully aiming true, right? So you want to be pursuing your freedom and your purpose through Mars and Sagittarius, and you're driven with that that search or quest for meaning, and you want to be in the direction where you're going to be sustaining your efforts, because you're going to be handing off to Capricorn next, and Capricorn is all about legacy and long-term stuff. So Mars in Capricorn acts with discipline and authority, moves through strategy and long-term focus, thrives on mastery and achievement, needs structure and respect. Mars in Aquarius acts innovatively and independently, moves through unconventional paths, thrives on reform and collective change, needs autonomy and originality. And then Mars in Pisces acts intuitively and compassionately, moves through inspiration rather than force, thrives on spiritual or creative motivation, needs emotional clarity and energetic boundaries. So that's how Mars shows up. It's mobilized and protected. Mars shows how energy is mobilized and protected. It governs anger, assertion, boundaries, and your survival instincts. The Mars plus the Sun reveals your leadership and vitality expression. The Mars plus the Moon reveals your emotional reactions and defense mechanisms. And Mars plus your rising shows how your actions are perceived by others. Pretty cool. So Mars is the warrior self. It represents will and action, courage and assertion, protection and boundaries, anger as information, and directed life force. The key words for Mars are action, will, courage, drive, defense, and power. So some of the ways that you can engage with your Mars is by having some journal. I have some journal questions for you. So what moves you into action? How do you respond to conflict? Where do you need stronger boundaries? And how do you discharge excess energy safely? These are all great questions for you to delve into. So there. And tomorrow we will talk about, we did Mars. Is it Jupiter tomorrow that I'm going to talk about? Maybe. Mars, Jupiter. Yep, Jupiter. We'll talk about Jupiter tomorrow. I think I'm going to offer a information package on my website for anyone that's interested. It's not going to have the depth that I'm going to go into in March when I do the Krystic astrology course, but it will be some of the information on each of the signs like I've went through here. I'll see what I'm going to include in it, but something of a package for you to kind of get you started. So you can look to that. Somebody requested some information and that promoted this thought. So thank you for that. I appreciate you. So we'll see how that goes. Waiting for her to mention it. So you got plans for your new moon tomorrow? Hi, April Viola. No plans? No plans? No plans for the new moon? Well, we'll have to see what we can do to help you out with that, give you some plans for the new moon. I'm going to be here going live. So today we're in the purification before expansion, and we're releasing, we're clearing, we're in this refinement. We're preparing the inner field for the new moon ignition. Tomorrow we go to the becoming point, because now we're in that new moon in Sagittarius. So this is that identity activation. It's the intention alignment, the oversoul vision, and the anchoring of the new template. So that's what we'll be covering tomorrow. And then Saturday, I won't be doing a live, but on Sunday, I will do a small live to do something for solstice. So look for that. Look for that. But you can always go and check out my website and all the offers that I have there. All right. Well, how do you feel about all of that information for today? You must have needed to hear me again, Brandon. There's a reason. There's no coincidences. Hi. Sending lots of love your way. Truly, truly. Always. Always. So yeah, much love to you. Do stop by and see me again. We can always talk about more. But I love you guys and have a wonderful Thursday. I'm going to go and, well, at least walk the driveway. There's so much snow, I don't think I can really go trudging through the back 40, but I can actually say that. I live on 40 acres. I can say the back 40 because it is the back 40. And well, maybe not quite the back. It's the side and the front, but it's all 40. I can probably walk down the driveway and back. That's about it. It is a little bit warmer right now. It's apparently only -7, whether this is accurate or not. -7 would be the bare temperature that we have out there, and that's Celsius, of course. Let's see what I can do to help my American friend here. It feels like -10, and whoop, there goes a actual pileated woodpecker flying to go to the feeder. You know, so we're 19 degrees Fahrenheit, which feels like 14. Okay. 10 degrees. If it was 10 positive degrees, I'm in. I don't like it when it goes below 0. And you know, but here I am. Here I am in Alberta. But I'm here because there's a need, right? There is a need. There's a large number of homeless. We get down to -40, -50 sometimes with the wind chill. Yesterday was -40. And I lived in British Columbia. I live down in Surrey and other places. But yeah, so I'm going to bundle up the pup. He's not really a puppy. He's a mature dog. He's 8. Bundle up my dog and bundle up myself and take him for a walk before the sun gets too low. And then the movement of those lovely animals peaks up in the evening. So we're going to get out and do that. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow. I love you. Have a beautiful day. And if you have anything to give, please go to hugsforhomeless.com and make a donation so we can get some backpacks out into the community. Mwah. Bye, guys. Oh, that was weird. Bye now.